Yeah. You'll be there downstairs, right? Okay. Your number, please. I'll just note it down. If I have any issues.
Eight eight three zero
Mm-hmm.
87
Mm-hmm.
78
Mm-hmm.
87.
Okay.
Avishkar Kikde.
Fine.
Your name?
My name is CMA Lalita.
Okay.
I'll give you a call from here.
आपका होने के बाद आपका व्हाट्सएप लॉग आउट कर दूँगा.
हाँ, एवरी टाइम ये एडमिट होने के लिए बोलता है.
हाँ.
सो दैट्स द थिंग. यहाँ पे एक ऑप्शन था जहाँ पे कर सकते हैं फॉर एवरीबडी.
अकाउंट बेटिंग दिखा रहा है यार.
ये पता नहीं किधर से मैंने किया है. लॉन्ग बैग आई डिड इट. जनरल डेस्कटॉप नोटिफिकेशन. ऑडियो वीडियो कैप्शन रिएक्शन यूनिट.
पोस्ट कंट्रोल गया.
हाँ. So they can share their screens and their messages, yes, and reactions. Turn on their video meeting access.
Yes,
Open. Yeah. This will
पोस्ट
search.
कंट्रोल.
Yeah. Thank you.
होने के बाद व्हाट्सएप लॉग आउट करना है.
हाँ. हाँ हाँ. That I will.
दिखता रहेगा.
हाँ हाँ. Yeah yeah. Thank you. Hello Rakesh, are you able to hear me? Yes. Am I audible? You can unmute and speak, or else you can just send a message, that will be fine. Hello. Yes. Hello Rakesh, am I audible? Hello. Hello. Yes. Hello, am I audible? Hello. Hello, Rakesh. Am I audible? Hello. 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 Yes, okay, then shall we start the session for today? Yep. Hello. Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Hello. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm not able to hear you basically. So what you can do is whatever is your doubts, you can send it through chat box. Yeah, even the reactions are okay. So I'll just start recording. Yes, of course. So today what we are going to do. Yeah, I'll just pin my screen. Okay. Yeah. Cost audit documentation. Fine. So this is what is the topic today, and we will be going through XBRL upload in detail. Okay. So what is there under cost audit documentation? So what are the documentations that we got to maintain? The first comes, yeah. First one is planning, then performing, then comes reporting. So what is planning? Planning is first whatever we did it in the cost audit program, right? So like understanding the entity and its environment, risk identification and strategy, risk and materiality assessment. After that, what do? We perform the audit. So we follow the audit procedures, we go by the cost accounting standards and whatever is specifically applicable to that particular industry. And then we come with audit findings. And last one is reporting. Reporting in the form as prescribed, that is form CRA 3. In that we will be reporting. Of course, in reporting, it doesn't just stop on preparation of a cost audit report. We have to also do an XBRL upload, and this will be attached as an XML file to CRA 4 form, and only then your audit is complete. Fine. So today we will be also looking into the details of CRA form and stuff. Okay. So First comes audit documentation, then comes audit file, then comes audit working papers. So audit documentation means the material including working papers prepared by and for or obtained and retained by the cost auditor in connection with the performance of the audit. So there will be a lot of input files that you will be receiving from various contacts. So you should be very careful in organizing it and going through that, because that becomes the proof of cost audit. Then comes audit file. That is, audit file means one or more folders or other storage media in physical or electronic form. So we usually maintain the audit files in electronic form itself, containing the records that comprise the audit documentation for a specific assignment or an audit. Then comes audit working papers, is whatever evidence you collect, okay, during the course of doing audit, that will form part of working papers. So such documents are used to support the audit work done in order to provide assurance that the audit was performed in accordance with the relevant cost audits and assurance standards. Okay, so then coming to, so what are the different stages? Okay, as we told, planning, second one is performing, third one is concluding and reporting. Okay, so if we look at planning, so this is done to optimize the efficiency and effectiveness. Actually, planning helps you to keep up or meet the deadlines. Okay, so if you don't plan for a particular audit properly, then meeting the deadlines becomes a difficulty. It's a big challenge. So in that case, you will be either ended up with a penalty in delay of such things. So you should be very careful while you plan for an audit. And just planning is not just enough. We have to go and execute it. Like whether there are internal controls in place, material consumption, cost accumulation, whether allocations are being made properly, absorption and apportionment are done properly or not. So all these things you can check only in the client system. So during audit time, it's always better you go to the client site and do all these things. Offline, like online, what you can do is you can do the communications, like sending mails, sending input files and all those things, like before the audit period starts, you know. So you know the contacts to whom you got to send the input files. The input file can be anything. Like for example, in case of employee details. So what I do is I shoot out a mail to the HR or the person responsible who knows whatever is from the whatever is the employee cost booked. Okay, so how many are direct employees and how many are indirect? That is those who are directly related to the process and those who are not directly related to. So likewise, I get the components. So I make an input file for employee cost. Similarly, I have an input file for material. Material is just not the amount but also the quantities and the compositions or components of what is there in the stock. So all these things you tend to create input files for the same, and these input files needs to be mailed, okay, and you will get the reply back which very well forms part of your evidence, and this will form part of your cost audit report. Okay, so that comes in the performing an audit. Then coming to concluding and reporting on an audit. So after the evidences are collected, after the cost audit report statements and annexures are prepared, and then you, as during the course of audit, while you perform the audit, you have seen to it how far they have adhered to the internal controls, how far they have done the material consumption, how far the allocations and apportionments have taken place. So you test all those things. So in the conclusion, you will report on all those aspects which you have taken note of during the performance of audit, and give your qualifications if there is a qualification needed, or the conclusion of the report, how the performance is being carried out, and also suggestions for next step. Okay, it's taking up the next step and giving suggestions to the management, like this could be done in a better way, or this could be done in such a way that information can be collected easily, Okay, so suggestions also form part of your conclusions. So these are the three stages. Well, we look at audit process. Okay, so in audit process, we have different things. So here if you look in detail, what is there in your audit process? I'm so sorry. Yeah. So over here if you see, under planning stage, you perform preliminary engagement activities. Okay, like listing the risk factors, independence, and then engagement letter. Once the preliminary engagement activities is done, so what is this documentation? This documentation is basically will flow from your side, wherein you will prepare your own list of risk factors. You will also collect all the information relating to the industry, and all of that is, it becomes material only when you are appointed as a cost auditor. So whatever is the letter, the concern letter, the acceptance letter, all that forms part of your preliminary step. Plan the audit of cost statement. So what is that you got to do? Develop an overall audit strategy and audit plan. So taking into consideration materiality, audit team discussion, yeah, there could be team discussions also. So the minutes will be very well used as the evidences. Overall audit strategy. Then you perform the audit procedures like identify, assess the risk of material. Is there any misstatement or so? So you look for all these things like business risk and fraud. Design and implementation, and then assess risk of material misstatement at statement level and at assertion level. If there is any misstatement, usually what problem you face in cost audit is the people who is doing the allocation on the allocation side to the cost centers or the profit centers may not be aware of certain principles of costing. So that we got to actually important tell them ki this is how it should happen. Like usually apportionment of cost is a matter of like experience by which they know, okay, this is a part of direct and that is part of indirect, or that is part of administrative overheads. Usually overhead allocations and absorptions or something which requires a lot of expertise to do that. Okay. Then coming to performing stage. So what do we do at the performing stage? We design the overall responses and further audit procedures and implement responses to assess the risk of materiality and misstatement. Then we do the reporting phase wherein we evaluate the audit, observe the evidences or obtain the evidences, and prepare the cost auditor's report, form an opinion based on cost audit findings, and then significant decision and sign the audit opinion. So signing of the document is when the review happens and later on it gets signed by the cost auditor. He puts his sign and seal, which makes it an authenticated document. And this of course will be circulated to the director who will be acting on behalf of the company, and this report needs to be countersigned by the director, and only then it is eligible for filing. Got it? So this is the entire audit process which has been explained. Now coming to practical steps. Okay. So I'll just in nutshell tell you what are the practical steps. So coming to first of all the objectives of audit and management outlook. See, it is not just the cost audit assignment that comes to a cost auditor. There could be also other reasons for which you would have got the assignment. That assignment can be for cost control or checking the parameters of operational efficiency. So you should be very well be knowing what is the objective of performing that particular audit or that particular assignment, and what is the expectation of the management from you. That is also very important, because if I do something which is of no use to the management, then why would they prefer me to be assigned with that particular task? Even when cost audit comes as a compliance purpose, right? So for example, I am doing cost audit for a spinning factory. Okay, so spinning business. So they spin the raw cotton into yarn. But that particular business is actually based on the orders that they get and the execution of the orders and the collection of money, that is the revenue that is generated from the business. But basically, if you look the P&L, look at the P&L of that particular business, it is actually showing profits. But while making the cost audit report, I realized that actual margin or actual profit that they are getting as per the cost records is actually not profit, it's a loss. It's getting covered up with certain things like a sale of some asset or some donations or loans that they are receiving. So what happens is all these things is covering up their losses and showing the profits. So even though cost audit is for compliance sake, it is for compliance sakes, but apart from that, it gives a lot of insight into the process and the production that goes to the management. So the director was very much interested in knowing, like, why do you prepare? Like, cost audit report is prepared only once in a year. So he was offered suggestions like it is more or less like a post-mortem of what has happened last year. So it is of no use for me if I get an yearly report, even though it is a compliance report. So is that possible to give a statement every quarter so that we will know how quarter-wise performance is happening, and accordingly we will fix some issues that is cropping up. So that was a very good suggestion from the management side. So likewise, you have to discuss with them, like what is the prime motive, prime objective, or what is the expectation from our side. So we do a lot of analysis, but the analysis what they are looking for is what is more important than me giving a general statement. So that is very important. That is objectives of audit and management outlook. Preconditions. The cost auditor should first fully understand the objective of cost audit, area, nature and scope of audit. What is that in the scope? Okay. And then number of cost auditors appointed, the applicable reporting framework, the reporting deadline, the period and the statutory deadlines. So you know very well, within 180 days from the close of the financial year, the cost audit report needs to be submitted to the board of directors, and once it is handed over to the board, to the company, it needs to be filed in XBRL format within 30 days from the receipt of the cost audit report. So my duty as a cost auditor doesn't end just at the time while I do the review and hand over the cost audit report. It will end only when the XBRL upload is complete. So till such time, the entire role a cost auditor needs to play, he has to go about it. So he should know the deadlines, what are the penalties if you don't meet the deadlines and all those things. So that is very, very important. Then scope of work, responsibilities, like who is maintaining the cost record. Like if I want the employee cost details, who is the HR contact whom I need to contact. If I need something on PAR details, then who is the PAR engineer on the site whom I can contact. So I should know the person whom do I have to approach for these things, or I should get a person from the company side, like who can help me to contact all these people. Because it is not just you contact the finance team and do it. No, it's not that way. You got to get into different functions like HR, sales. It could be sales. Mostly it is of production, because you have to get a lot of insight into process. The quantity details and everything flows from the production team. Okay, so all these things will form part of your preconditions. Then allowing access to the auditor all information, including the books of accounts, vouchers. So you should get access to all these things. And even sometimes, like you sit in the office, their office, you just log into their database and you can pull information from that also, and you can get the assistance for that. And allowing unrestricted access to person within the company from whom the cost audit determines and obtains cost audit evidence. The auditee and the cost auditor decides the audit fee and the payment schedule. So usually what happens is, in my case, I make a lump sum payment I get a lump sum payment. So what I do is once the XBRL upload is successfully done, my entire responsibility comes to an end. So what I do is later on I raise an invoice for a lump sum payment and mail it to the accounts department with all the invoice details. Let it be, it can include even my transportation fees, it can include my lodging fees if I go for a factory visit, and all those things will form part of my invoice. That invoice will be mailed to the accounts team, and once the approval is done, the payment is released after TDS. So this is how it happens, but accordingly, like they can speak on the terms which is needed for, okay, for fixing up the audit fee. As I have earlier showed you, the institute gives you a guideline for audit fees, but still whatever is in the market and what is the trend that is going on, accordingly the board of the board or the directors will liaise with you. Usually this is also taken in case of private companies, the board of directors do. In case of public companies, what happens is shareholders even do. The major shareholders shall also approve and discuss on these things, like what should be the fees, audit fees. Okay, then understanding the company's business is very, very important, like whether they have any joint venture, whether they have any other types of business they carry out, and how they do the physical verification of inventory, how they are maintaining, are they complying with the GST compliances, because GST reconciliation is also part of cost audit report, and how is the internal audit system functioning, and what is their accounting system, that is financial system, as well as the financial system, as well as the system that supports their process. So how are things going on over there? And of course now it's technology being used everywhere. So what is the MIS system, that is management information system, and you usually liaise with the IT people also to understand the system, okay, for their controls and checks in places. So these are all the things that you have to look into while it comes to understanding the company's business, which is very, very important. After understanding, you plan it. You plan the audit, like how many number of days it's going to take, what is the timing that you are involved, and how many audit personnel you are going to have to work on it, and overall audit plan and audit strategy. This should be ready as soon as, that is after the end of the financial year. So 31st March, if it is done. So what I do is I just give a 1 or 2 weeks of relaxation, okay, to the companies, and then shoot mails for each and everything. See, hey, once the finalization is done, I need all these inputs, and what are the inputs for the previous year and stuff. Okay, so that is the prep that you make. So that you usually get through an experience, okay, how you prepare yourself for audit, how do you initiate the audit, at what points of time. And audit is just not initiation but also follow up, because nobody thinks about audit, okay, unless and until the deadline is nearing. So you have to constantly chase them for the information at the right time, because that will fetch you, that will help you with preparation of the cost audit report. So that is very, very important. Well, coming to execution of audit. So as I told, how you are going to execute it. So after everything is done, audit plan is jotted out. So you go into performing the audit checks and procedures. Like it could be a sample check, okay, collecting all required audit evidences and documenting it properly, because these evidences are part of your audit working papers, audit file. So preparing the draft observations, discussing with key management personnel, it's where the review happens, and preparing the final audit report. So usually what difficulty as a cost auditor I have faced is, when I go and liaise, or when I go and explain the cost audit report, okay, to the CEO or basically the CFO. So if the CFO doesn't have any idea, much idea about what cost audit is and what the cost audit report speaks about, I always insist upon, because what they do is they try to match our cost audit report numbers with the numbers of financial or the statutory audit reports. No way there will be one-to-one matching of the numbers, because you as a CMA student, you know very well how in depth we analyze the cost. Like what they will do, they will see the employee cost in the P&L, and they'll ask me, in your cost audit report, employee cost is something else. So I have to always give them the perspective that employee cost, we look at it at different modes. Like we have direct employee cost, we have something indirect employee which you are part of administrative or office overheads. We have some employee cost on the sales side that will go for sales and distribution. So likewise, the same amount, how it is divided and apportioned in under different heads. So this is very, very important. Like in the first 2 years, they also find it difficult. Like, how do I trace this amount? So you are reporting one amount in your cost audit report, but how do I go about it? So usually whenever a cost audit report is prepared, I also send the backup files to the key personnel, whoever is going to review it, so that he is able to understand, okay, what are the calculations behind the numbers. Fine, so that usually a cost auditor faces when there is review of cost audit report with the key management personnel. Then comes the audit documentation, that is whatever you have done till now, that is till the fifth stage, will all form part of documentation. So how organized we are, because at any point of time we may also refer to the previous year audit reports, because usually the cost audit report that you prepare, that is not only for the current year but also it will have the numbers of previous years. So how you have arrived at it, or what are the files? So only when you properly maintain it in an organized way, it is easy to refer, or there will be a lot of loss of time and efforts in tracing back the evidences. So that is very important on how you organize yourself. Okay. Preparation and filing of cost audit report. So preparation of cost audit report, already we have seen like form CRA1, form CRA2. Form CRA1 is full of rules and regulations, right? Form CRA2 is the appointment of cost auditor. Form CRA3 is the actual statements and annexure. And form CRA4 is the conclusion, where the XBRL file in the XML form will be uploaded. Fine. So today what we are going to see is not just the qualification of the adverse reports, what is qualified audit report, what is adverse report, but also I would like to access all the websites where you can actually go for or get a very good idea about this XBRL format and stuff. Because for sure, from exam perspective, this XBRL actually comes as a question, so you should be prepared for that. So that is why I send you those things through WhatsApp, right? So let me just go with the first part on preparation. So if you see the related evidence, physical and digital. So mostly we have all the digital stuffs. So the broad headings under which we are supposed to maintain all these things. So there are 30 rules, right? So all the 30 things we are going to maintain in a format, that is CRA1. 30 broad headings for detailed cost accumulation. So though I will be preparing a cost sheet, but all the inputs will flow from these formats that I am going to prepare. So if you want to refer to the formats, right? So if you look into the cost audit program, which was in detail, page number 326. Wait, I'll go there. So if you just look at here, okay, I'll show you the formats. So for example, see, inventory of finished product. So like this formats I'll be using. From here, this is of course it will have the quantitative details. as well as the financial numbers. This will ideally flow into my cost sheet. So this is how there are different tables for each and everything: raw material, work in progress, finished goods, and the units of measurement. Okay. So like electricity cost, this is forming part of utilities. Then power, electricity, water consumption. Okay, so every time these things are done, this is just not for the current year. At least previous 3 years तक का तो information लेते हैं, because that will be that will help you to understand कि how the trend is happening for each and every cost. Even the management will be interested to know that whether the cost is on the higher side or it has come down. What about the consumption? Because in all these formats, if you see, it is the unit of measurement you give as well as the amount that you give. If the unit of measurement will give you the consumption in units, like whether the power consumption has gone up or down, because there are two reasons, two variances that can happen. So whatever you have had in your budgeting, right? So one variance can be through the usage variance, or another one could be through the price variance. So if the usage is the same but price keeps changing, so that could be if the rates are changed by the electricity board, for which you cannot help it. You have to go by that. But if there is something with the consumption, which is, for example, it is going to shoot up like anything, so you should be very much worried about what is happening in the electricity consumption, which is causing the numbers to go up, consumption of units to go up. So that they will find out, okay, there is something going wrong with the consumption, there is some wastage of power and something. So accordingly, remedial action will be taken. So here, the beauty of costing is, at each and every level of cost, we prepare detailed reports such a way that it will actually give a very good idea to the management, like where the maximum cost is actually getting trapped. So where the money is getting trapped. So that cost they try to get hold of whoever is in, the production, or whoever is in charge, and they try to bring in various process changes and things in order to put the cost under control. So likewise, we have lot of, demineralized water. So even there is a format for this. So likewise, if you see, there are totally 30 headings that are being discussed at CRA1, right? So I just missed out the page. So all those 30 headings will have 30 different formats, and this will be your input file for your cost sheet. So if I have to just go to the thing once again, like preparation and filing, okay? So we are on page number 376, okay? Yeah. So this we have already seen, yeah. Planning the audit, execution, then coming the filing. So under all these 30 headings, you will have such formats which will actually help you to get an insight about each and every cost. What is that which is incurred? How this is going to flow into your cost sheet. If the clarity is missing here, obviously your cost sheet will not be correct. So this is very, very important, and it's the easiest way actually when you work on each and every cost, right? So then you get the details, you get the insight about the company, what are the costs that are getting booked, what are the ledger accounts that are being dealt here. So this is a very good exercise actually to prepare your final cost sheet, okay? So then comes, what are the critical elements that must be stated in the cost audit report? Of course, the above requirements is done. Yeah, these critical things are very, very important. I'll just, yeah. Whether the machines and labor remained idle during the year because of the shortage of raw materials. See, you got to report on this, because idle time is the main place where the leakage happens, okay? So that is one thing. Whether a large quantity of raw materials were stocked which remain unutilized for a long time. So you have to look into their inventory policies. Do they order it based on economic order quantity basis, or how do they order and maintain stock levels, like minimum stock levels, safety stock levels. So here it is like you will bring in all your knowledge about each and every management that we actually studied in our inter, like let it be inventory management, receivables management, payables management, debtors management, or that is receivables management. So all these things, all this knowledge will be pooled here. And he should state whether the cost records maintained by the company is adequate for the purpose of the audit, and whether the broad policies laid by the management was faithfully followed. So these are all the important elements of the cost auditor report. And the cost auditor should state if there has been a rise in the cost of production as compared to the previous year. He should analyze the causes for such rise. So one could be the cost of production would have gone up because the production of units itself has gone up, okay? And then it could be some change in prices because it's an inflation kind of an economy where always the prices keep changing, okay? So, or it is due to excess usage. So inefficiency should be detected and an alarm sign should be given to them. So he should clearly point out where the problem is originating from. So when will you be in a position to do it? Only when you look at cost at each and every element wise. So we have in Form CRA1 all the 30 headings of cost, which are the major cost headings under which the cost gets booked. So if you are able to analyze and prepare the tables for all those things and get the inputs from the team or from the company, then it is very, very easy to do the audit, okay? The report should state if there has been any wastage during the during the process of manufacture, and if so, how it could be avoided, okay? So we are not the decision makers, we are on the advisory position. So that you have to always remember. So out of your experience, expertise, okay, so you have to bring about the points to them. You can give the suggestions to the management, and it is up to the management to implement all those things. Fine. So the cost auditor should also mention the areas in which it is possible to reduce the cost of production. So these all actually goes into the review with the management. So it's not once the review happens, like for example, in a particular company, what happens is I do a review with the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Later on, what happens is once he approves the number, then I go with a discussion with the director, who is basically an owner of a company, because it's a private limited company. So what happens as an owner, he is very much interested to know why these numbers are flowing in and how these costs can be controlled. So there will be a lot of discussion. The production team will also be there. The CFO will also be there. And as a cost auditor, I'll be there with my report. And actually a great discussion happens there in the boardroom. So that's really very interesting actually when it happens. So I just feel the satisfaction that gives me, because the output that we are going to give to the management will help them a great way to improve their process and increase their profits and revenues. Okay, so that is very important. That's the ultimate purpose. Though cost audit is done for a compliance sake, it is a compliance, but as well as it is an input for the managerial decision making. So it's very important. So every company under this rule, see, within a period of 30 days from the receipt of the cost audit report to submit or upload in XBRL format, the detail and report with full information and explanation on every reservation or quantification contained therein CRA 4. Form CRA 4 is the last form, okay? Therein is a company's filing of documents, forms and XBRL rules 2015 in MCA portal, Ministry of Corporate Affairs portal. This helps company to integrate financial and cost data across all the operational areas for better control. Got it? So this there actually ends your cost audit procedure. So once it is uploaded in Form CRA 4, it is converted into XBRL file, it is uploaded in Form CRA 4, the cost audit comes to an end. Then comes what is a qualified audit report and what is and adverse audit report. There is difference between these two. Qualified is where you find a particular aspect of cost element which is being, or where there is a deviation in that particular element of cost, like proper allocation is not done, absorption of cost is not done, or proper principles were not followed, then a qualified audit report will be issued by the cost auditor. He will bring about the situations which have not been compliant with the general accepted accounting principles, and it's not in conformity with the principle laid down in CRA 1C. It always gets back to the cost audit rules that is stated in form CRA 1 for 30 different types of cost. So that is called qualification. See, when the cost statements are materially misstated due to misstatement in one particular cost element or class of transaction or disclosure. This is qualified cost audit report. But what about an adverse audit report? That the cost statements are materially misstated, and such misstatements have pervasive effect on the cost of production, cost of sale, margin of the products. That is, the entirety of the following of the principle itself is falsified. Then an adverse opinion is issued when the cost auditor determines that they are materially misstated and when considered as a whole do not conform with the generally accepted cost accounting principle. So this is what is the ideal difference between a qualified audit report. Qualified in the sense is not, there are reservations, but it's being just a part of it. Adverse is a total falsification. So it is considered the opposite of an unqualified or a clean opinion, essentially stating that the information contained is materially incorrect, unreliable, inaccurate in order to assess the company's operational results. So while we look at the thing that I have sent you, actually, this was on XBRL format, right? Okay, this is also on XBRL. Okay, I have not sent you that particular thing. Actually, it was asked, okay, what is qualified audit report or what is an adverse audit report? So this is the basic difference between the two. Fine. So far so good. Are you able to understand and follow me, or are you finding it boring? It would be nice that if you also put your questions in the chat box. So I'll give you some time. If you have anything in your mind, can you just put it in the chat box and then we take a break? Yes, that will be better. I give you some time. So whatever we have done so far, if you have any doubts, please post it in the chat box now. It'll be nice. Yes, do you have any questions in your mind? You can just put it in the chat box, or if you are okay till now, you can put a reaction or just type it in your chat box, please. Yeah, giving reactions is very easy. What about Anu? Did you follow or do you have any doubts till now? This is like the entire thing that you do for an audit. Okay, this will form part of your question. Yes, Anu, any doubts? Okay, fine. So let's take a quick break of 10 minutes and then we will get back to the most interesting part of how to validate XBRL format, how to create the files, okay, because it's in a different language. And of course you get a short question from the XBRL thing. So as far as possible, whatever files I have on a particular website, I'll show you how it gets validated and converted into XBRL stuff. So here comes the technology that we will be using. for converting the statutory audit reports. Fine. So I mean any kind of a statutory like reports. It is also for statutory audit reports. It is also applicable for cost audit reports. So basically we will be concentrating on this stuff. So let's take a 10 minutes break, okay, and join back for XBRL. Yep. So I'll just mute myself till then. Yes, let's continue, or you're back from the break. I'll just drop a message. Okay, so what I will do is I'll show the important websites. Okay, so we call it as cost audit taxonomy. As per MCA. So I'll directly take you through the MCA website. So this is the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So what does it say? Okay, so I'll just circulate this also in the group. That'll be good. Okay, steps for filing cost audit report in XBRL format on MCA portal. Creation of XBRL instance document, download the XBRL validation tool, load the instance document, do validate it, do pre-scrutiny of that instead document, and then you convert it into PDF and you check for any changes to be made, and after checking it, if something needs to be revised, you will revise it, and then attach the instance document to Form 1 and Form A or Form CRA 4 respectively. So we actually attach it to Form CRA 4 basically, and then submit it in the MCA portal. So what is this XBRL language and all those things? First we will go through that and then go about with the functionality. Okay. So if you get to the last page of this particular study note, it's in the question format, which is very easily you can understand, okay, and answer it. So first comes, what is XBRL? So XBRL full form is Extensible Business Reporting Language, and this is the language based on XML, Extensible Markup Language, which is family of languages. It is an open standard-based reporting system that is built to accommodate the electronic preparation and exchange of business reports around the world using internet. So whoever is having internet, they can actually access these reports. Okay, so it has been defined specifically to meet the requirements of business and financial information. It enables unique identifying tags to be applied to items of accounting data. So we are very much worried about the costing taxonomy, that is what are the cost elements, because XBRL tool, whatever it throws up to you, you cannot edit it. Okay, if it says material cost, it is material cost. You cannot include something else which is different from that taxonomy. That is how it brings in the standardization of reports. Okay. So the tags provide a range of information about the item, such as whether it is a monetary item, whether it is a percentage or fraction, because it's not necessary your report will have everything in rupees or everything rupees in 1,000, rupees in lakhs. So it could be there could be percentages, there could be ratios, there could be times, there could be units of measurement, different units of measurement. So all these things, okay, or the tags. So XBRL not only allows the labels in any language to be applied to items, it also allows the accounting references or other subsidiary information to be added to the tags. So this is what is XBRL. It's a different language. It's a business reporting language which is used for reporting purposes. Now what are the potential uses? Where do we use it? So one is reporting for internal and external purposes by an entity involving financial and costing data or information. So it is not just cost audit report that goes for this XBRL upload, but also the statutory audit report also goes for that, okay? And then business reporting to all types of regulators, including tax and financial authorities, central banks and governments. There are many, wherever statutory reporting is involved, in whichever form it may be or whatever information it may contain, all that is streamlined through this particular language, okay? So filing of loan reports and application, credit risk assessments, exchange of information between government departments, institutions and banks, for all these things XBRL is of use. Who can benefit from using XBRL? See, first what is XBRL? Next comes what are the uses? Next comes who is going to benefit out of it. Why do we have to have this in first place? Okay. All types of organization can make use of XBRL to automate their process of data collection and distribution to various stakeholders. So it is not just data collection. Distribution becomes much easier when it is in this format. It helps in saving cost and improving the efficiency in managing the business information, both financial and cost. XBRL being extensible and flexible, it can be adapted for a wide variety of requirements. So all stakeholders, whether they are preparers, transmitters or users of business data, we are the preparers. Users are the end users of the business data. Transmitters who are in between in the financial information supply chain can actually benefit from the use of XBRL. So it is useful for preparers, transmitters and end users to access the data. That is what is very, very important. So who can benefit out of it? Then what is the future of XBRL? It's going to go in, actually, whenever we think about regulations, corporate governance, compliances, all these things are actually taken care by XBRL. So XBRL has a bright future ahead of it that goes way beyond the current focus on regulatory reporting and compliance. Businesses that now, which are creating XBRL formats or filings for regulatory bodies, should be thinking about to leverage their investment in understanding and using XBRL to drive more consistent and comparable internal reporting. It's actually the reporting that we do as a part of regulation is in the form of XBRL. But internally, it's not necessarily they use this XBRL format. So the company should leverage to understand this by tagging the data at the account or transaction level. Actually, if it is done at the company level, then it becomes very easy for us to convert it into XBRL. So that will give new holistic reports that integrate and connect the financial and non-financial data. So this connection of financial and non-financial data is very, very important. Like for example, when I say, what is cost of production? If you see, it is the total number, but it doesn't make sense if I say what is cost of production per unit of anything that is produced. So that is more relevant. So then it becomes easier for my comparison. Like previous year, cost of production per unit or per kg of so and so was 20 rupees. Now it is 25 rupees. So I can comment like it has gone up, why it has risen, and all those things. So that is what it takes into account, both financial and non-financial data, and by leveraging emerging online XBRL data streams for better understanding, better industry performance and peer group analysis. Even that is important. Peer group analysis within the same industry helps you to see where your standing is. It's like benchmarking or comparison with the benchmarks is always necessary. So both interfirm and intra-firm comparison is being facilitated by XBRL. Who developed XBRL? Of course, this becomes the history of XBRL. So it is managed and promoted by XBRL International, which is a non-profit consortium with companies, government bodies and other organizations. Okay, what is the benefit of having cost-related data in XBRL format? This will be one more question, because anyway when we talk about the statutory audit reports which are uploaded in XBRL format, right? So already the financial data is there, but why you need a cost data separately in XBRL format? So usually government and regulators require cost data for different sectors for policy making. This is very important, where the key role of cost and management accountants actually comes into picture. The availability of cost data in XBRL format actually enables informed decision making for sectoral studies. Okay, with full adoption of XBRL, companies would be able to integrate its financial and cost data across its operational areas and exercise better control on its activity. See, always the cost data is also given separately apart from the financial data, because cost data gives you the entire insight into the process of the company. So it's a niche area. It is not like everybody can do it. Okay, so it's a niche area. You have to understand all the costing concepts, how it works, what way it is going to help the management, how you are going to make you are going to control cost or reduce cost. These are all like amazing things. Okay, what is costing taxonomy? I was telling costing taxonomy, but what is this? It is a dictionary of all cost elements required in the cost audit report and compliance report. So if you see employee cost, only that particular terminology will be there. You cannot play around that. Okay, so that will be something like in value added statement, they have a category separately as others, that which does not fit under the distribution of earnings. Like distribution of earnings goes to dividends as to the shareholders, but we don't have shareholders because it's a private limited company. Okay, then it's not a dividend, but that is the retained profits. And places where we have payment of interest to the financing companies, okay, from where we have borrowed money. So that is not explicitly given in the distribution of earnings, but actually it is distribution of earning to an outsider who is a finance company who is lending us money and we are paying interest. So that particular thing you have to put it under others category, because you don't find that taxonomy in that particular format. It is like a definition. So only that which can go into it, or else others will go into others, and you give a footnote of what does it contain. So I'll show you that, so it will be good for your understanding as well. Where can I find this costing taxonomy? Actually, if you go, it is there in MCA website. Okay, so I can put the costing taxonomy. Yes. So if you see, just a moment. Give me a second. I'll directly take you to the, not this one, just a minute. See, they have validation tool in itself. It will be in a zip file. Okay, so they have an instruction kit and forms in which, okay, so if you see, there will be costing taxonomy. See, updated costing taxonomy version. Okay, see, preferred label. This is like your programming stuff. Okay, so details for not reporting previous years. So these will be extensive thing in your cost audit report. See, self-manufactured quantity. So you have for different things. See, abridged cost statement is one of the form and annexure. So you will have all these details in that particular, say, actual production quantity, finished goods purchased, change in stock. All these things are the thing that you will find it in that particular format. So this cannot deviate from it, okay? So you have even definitions, see. This will also help you out. Now category of cost auditor. So see, it is order 3. Yeah. Firm's registration number, SRN number. So likewise, you have all the categories or definitions under which it will be there reported. So there is a tool which actually will have everything based on this, okay? So this is what is costing taxonomy. You can directly access, okay, from the MCA portal, and you can go through it. But the other thing is, following this is also a bit of, there is a difficulty in this. So I'll show you from where I get this XBRL format, okay? Just a minute. So this is what is published. So how it is changed or changing, and what are the things available under each of the format. So you may have a format, that is your book will be having a lot of formats. You went through it, form CRA 3 ke niche, you have lot of statements and annexures, okay. So these statement and annexures, each and every heading in that will be defined here. So that is what is costing taxonomy, okay. So let me go to this, okay. And where can I find this? That is what, and what is the use of other files given in XML, XSD format along with the taxonomy. So taxonomy file has extensions of XML and XSD. XBRL is the processor, computer software that understands your XBRL documents. For this, it will need XML and XSD documents. You need not get into it because as an XBRL tool, it will come with all these features, okay. How and where a person interested in filing cost audit report and compliance report and XBRL format take training for the same. So the details of program are available on icma.in, our own website, and MCA, where you have XBRL training programs. I think you have gone through that, right? How can the cost audit report and compliance report is converted into XBRL format? So how do you do it? These are basically the steps involved in it, okay? XBRL is an open source technology. Any of the following methods can be adopted to create the instance document. This is called instance document. For instance, or example, just like that, think, correlate that way. Instant document for filing of respective reports. So it is developed by different software vendors, okay. So you have private vendors for these XBRL tool from whom you will be purchasing the license, and every year it needs to be renewed, okay, which support the creation of cost reports in XBRL format, and it can be used to create the necessary document. Various elements of cost audit report and compliance report can be mapped into XBRL tag, that is called tagging, okay. So these are all certain terminologies that you got to use while you answer your questions. Of costing taxonomy using specialized XBRL software tools specially designed for this purpose. Different third-party packages can also be integrated into the existing accounting system to generate this XBRL cost statement. There are various web-based applications also available that take input reports in various formats like Microsoft Excel. This becomes easier because we basically prepare the entire format in Excel format. So what happens if there is a tool or web-based tool which can easily take into this Excel into it, it becomes much easier. So that is why we always prefer that which is integrated, okay. So here Microsoft Excel is getting and transformed into XBRL format. The methodology adopted by an individual company will depend on its requirement and the cost accounting software and system being used and other factors. So what I will do is you can also access this particular thing. I'll tell you. I use basically the Micro Vista. Yeah, this is Micro Vista Technologies. Just a minute. I'll just log in there. I'll send you this thing, okay? So it is XBRL filing software, how it works and other things. So see, is that mandatory? All these things is, I'll just share you the one. Yeah, so in this, if you just open up this particular one, that is 2018 onwards, this particular one. Okay, so this version we download it. So the downloaded version is over here. I'll show you that. It will be in Excel sheet. See, this will be the case, and where you have the entire set of all the statements and annexures to cost audit report in the form of Excel itself. And you have an inbuilt validation tool, because problem is when you convert to XBRL upload thing, right? Always we come across various validation errors. So that errors also we will discuss on how to validate the entire document. Only then the file will be converted. See, likewise you have all the things that are there in your, the last one is reconciliation. See how the format is. So you got to input or align your working file to this. Only then it becomes easier for feeding these information into it. So you can just, the macros are currently not working for me. So what you can do is you can just download the thing and you can go through it. So overview. The Excel utility can be used for creating XBRL or XML file for cost audit report. So that's why this is much easier. Because the thing is, while you send it for XBRL upload, right? One thing is your working file will be in Excel. Okay. And then this needs to be given in the Word format as well as in the PDF format. So there are 3 different formats in which it needs to be converted and given and forwarded for XBRL upload. So how do you do that? Doing the formatting itself, if it takes a lot of time, it becomes difficult. So what we do is we keep the working file in such a way it can be easily transformed into a PDF or a Word document, so that it's easy to be, just you got to convert it and send it. So what is this? This is the Excel utility that can be used for creating the XBRL or XML file. And if you see, it has 2 processes. Firstly, generation of convert to XBRL. See, this is the convert to XBRL, secured written file, and generated XBRL or XML file using the software. Okay. Then, before you begin, what are the things you should keep in mind? The version of Microsoft Excel in your system should be Microsoft 2007 and the above versions, not below that. The system should have a file compression software to unzip the Excel utility file. Make sure you have downloaded the latest Excel utility. So you always go to the website and do it and download it into your local system. Make sure you have downloaded the Chrome browser to view the report generated from Excel utility. So they are recommending on the Chrome. So please, you have to follow these things carefully when you are going for an XBRL upload. Please enable the macros if it is disabled. So enabling of macros will help you to validate the data at each level. Okay. Then coming to index. So these are the extensive 19 things that will be forming part of your report. Like for example, general information. See, select the type of company. So it will be from the drop down, whether it is a domestic company or a foreign company. What is the CIN number? What is the name of the company? And once you fill in this form, you got to click on the validate button. My micros are not working. See, it's throwing the error if it is not filled in. Only if I validate this particular thing will be validated and it will move on. So how do I correlate this with the things that I have shown you in the books? Okay. So if I go to the book, actually, I'll give you this. So if you go to page number, I'll tell you which page number, just a minute, which has all the statements and formats. So give me a second. Yeah. If you go to page number 53 of your book, so I'm just going to page number 53. This is CRA 2. I'm going to CRA 3. So here, see, general information. This is the format that's given in your thing. Okay, sorry. So this general information is what is contained here. See, select type of company, name of the company, see, address of the registered office. It will be almost the same with some difference. So this is what is the costing taxonomy, the heading that you are finding. You cannot actually alter it, see, it is all protected. You cannot alter it. Fine. So likewise, you go one by one. So this is the general information. Then coming to form of cost audit report. See, general details of cost auditor. See, it's the same format, but it is in the Excel format, wherein you have to type in all these things. If the company already exists, right, you can actually pull the data. That will be much easier. So what is the serial number of form CRA2? So CRA2 is appointment of cost auditor. Once it is filed with MCA, you generate a serial number which gives you the appointment. So that serial number should be populated here. Okay, so these are all the things that are already contained in this format, but this format alone won't help because you will be preparing an Excel sheet in such a way that you can easily populate in all these things. And then once this is done, you will validate. So once you, so see here there are drop downs also. So once we get the input, okay, so category of cost auditor. So I say it is firm, and what is the firm registration number? That will of course be not in thing. So please enter one constant. So see, every step that I move towards each and every Excel sheet, okay, it will give all the things. So if I have to add the text block, that is for example, when coming to cost accounting policy, now this is just like that, okay. So here it says what is the cost accounting policy for the company. So entire thing will go under add text block and you just type in there and save it. Okay, so that is how it works, and at last you got to validate. See, once the validation is done, that means all your things are correct over here. So likewise, it's a very, I would say, a structured and a very hectic process to go one by one. It all depends upon what input file that you prepare for feeding in the information here. So if you prepare your input file in such a way that it is same as what is your costing taxonomy, it becomes very easy to put it in XBRL upload without any errors, validate it and convert it and upload it along with form CRA4. Or else it will be a very difficult thing to go through each and every detail. See, for everywhere it will ask each and every detail. So you should be very careful to have your format which is same as your XBRL format. So that is why we try on these things on Excel format. We just create it based on this and keep it in alignment so that it becomes easier to put it in the XBRL format and convert it into the required format. So did you get an idea? This is a real one which I actually use, okay? So you can download it from the website. I will also circulate the website. You can just look over the formats. So sometimes if you look the formats over here, it will be much easier. Kahin pe the thing will be, the format will be in a horizontal way, whereas your reporting will be in a vertical way. So but it needs to fit in, that's it. See, current year, previous year, abridged cost statement, and how to view the, so see, all the information will be coming in here. And this will create an instance that will be in the form of a PDF format which needs to be checked by us. If any correction needs to be made, once again it will be done in the XBRL format and then it will be uploaded. Got it? So this is how it works. See, if I click on cost of material consumed, it will go to the material consumed page. That is over here. Cost of utilities. So you have separate thing for this also. Like over here if you see. Okay, it is abridged cost statements. So if you look at here, see raw material utility. Current year, previous year. And this is for name of the product which is manufactured. It's abridged cost statement. And all this will go and sit here. So it is like it is linked to all pages. This is one of the XBRL format. Did you get a fair idea? Yeah? Are you able to understand? Because there are certain things, if you go through the theory, it will be like very boring, but if you can practically do it, it will be very interesting as well as it's easy to remember. So, are you able to understand what I explained you through? Like profitability, see profit reconciliation, profit as per for audited groups of services, for unaudited. Audited groups of services ka ye, it will come from your average cost statement. But profit or loss for unaudited ones is which is not under the purview of cost audit. So there could be cases where they have businesses which are not under the purview of cost audit. So their profit will also be reported there. And what will happen, this will add together and that will become amount of incomes, that will become profit or loss as per cost accounting records. So you know very well, under profit reconciliation, we will add the incomes which is not considered in cost account, see name of incomes. So you keep adding it, it will give you number of rows. Like for example, I want to add 3 rows. So see, 3 rows are getting added, wherein I'll put the description, like these are the reasons. And then there will be an amount which will be added here. So these are all the features that we have. So if I want to delete, I'll just delete it. Yes. Got it? So there is inbuilt validation and all these things. See, so then we arrive at profit and loss as per financial accounts. And if any notes we want to give, we add the text block and we type in the notes and save it here. This is how it works for each and every format. So any format that you find here, right, will be there. So for example, after the average cost statement, utilities and other stuff, we have the cost sheet. After the cost sheet, you have profit reconciliation, see value addition and distribution of earnings. See, the format is readily available here. See, like I was telling, distribution of earnings as salaries, as dividend, funds retained by company to government as taxes, exceptional and extraordinary expenses. So usually ये कहाँ से आता है? Reconciliation में you will find any extraordinary items, expenses. All this will flow in here. Only then your earnings available for distribution and total distribution of earnings will tally actually. Okay. So this is how it works. Similarly, financial position. What are all the ratio analysis? So if you see here, that will be your next format. So it is like apple to apple matching over here. Got it? So did you get a fair idea about how this XBRL format, how this keying in all goes into our conversion of file? Yes? Any doubts? So at each and every stage you got to validate your information, only then the entire thing will be converted into. So did you, any doubts please? Anu, Rakesh, or are you clear? Okay, what about you, Anu? Yeah. Okay, and now there are places where we get errors. Okay, so what are these errors that are thrown? So I have taken you to the MCA portal to know what is the costing taxonomy. I have shown you one of the privately generated XBRL file where you can go and do the XBRL file conversion. Okay, and there are many videos on this too, which I will forward it to you. Okay, and then once again going back to our study material. So if I go to page number 387, so few more minutes I'll take. Okay, so sometimes reading becomes much boring, you know, when you are not able to practically apply it. But when you are able to see the practical implication, then it becomes much interesting and the way of understanding will also improve. So see, steps for filing cost audit report in XBRL format on MCA portal. Okay, so this was a question that was asked. So if you see, I have done that. I've just forwarded in the group. So that I just, yeah, see, what is XBRL, what are the applications? So I have given what process to be followed to file the cost audit report. Mapping the individual cost elements to the elements of the costing taxonomy. Filling the relevant data in the software or filing tool. See, we were talking about filling the relevant data in software. Validating at each stage, creating the XBRL document and creating and validating the instance document with the validation tool of MCA. Convert this instance document to human readable format to check the correctness of data. So usually ये क्या होता है, this is converted into PDF format and then it is checked for. Once everything is fine, then attach this instance document to the e-form. Usually in cost audit report, it is form CRA4 and file it on MCA portal. So these are the steps in brief. So if you look here, okay, creation of XBRL instance document is tagging for XBRL taxonomy elements with the information in the cost audit report by way of mapping of the taxonomy elements. This is very, very important. We need to have a tool to create an XML file and convert it into an instance document. So there are several vendors who provide and sell this application that needs to be acquired for this purpose. So this taxonomy we have already. So usually see human readable form is PDF printable form. So what we do is that comes for error proofing. We once again compare our cost audit report with this PDF format, and once it is all done, okay. If some corrections needs to be done, that will be made, and then the instance document will be generated again. Then the validation tool, that is what I showed you. How do you do that validation? Load the instance document. To load the instance document, you need to click the open button, select the instance document and open it. You need not exit to load another document. You can just keep on loading it, okay, with the XBRL viewer. Then validate the instance document. Is as per the latest and correct version of taxonomy. Because every year there are chances of this taxonomy getting changed. So always take it from the website directly and don't go by the previous year things. Okay. All mandatory things, elements have been entered, business rules as specified by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, validation and all this. Pre-scrutiny of instance document. So once the instance document is successfully validated, the next step is to pre-scrutinize this with the help of the same tool using a working internet connection. So service side validations shall be performed using the MCA21 database and then convert to PDF to verify the instance document. This is what is human readable format. Then what we do, once it is all fine, there is no issues, then we attach this to form CRA 4. Only when it is attached, submitted and uploaded to MCA portal, the entire process of cost audit comes to an end. Got it? So these are the important steps. So first you remember the subheadings and the important terminologies that you got to use in order to answer such questions. Fine? Then you have XBRL conversion and filing errors. What could be the list of common errors? Like issue in net connectivity. So immediately check the connection, internet connection. The PDF is not getting generated or PDF generated is 0 kilobytes in size. मतलब PDF ही नहीं हुआ है. Okay, 0 byte में कैसे हो सकता है? Then you should see whether there is proper PDF format in which it needs to be converted. The format of the date entered is not as per the valid format. If you put a slash mark or if you put a dash, you should be very careful about those things. The Boolean data types, yes or no, has to be entered. That is your numbers. 0 to 100 entered for percentage data type fields. Wrong currency code like rupees that is entered. ये सब errors में दिखाएगा. Mandatory fields that you have not filled in, that will also throw in your error. In case the mandatory line items of a table are not entered in the instance document. So there are also mandatory line items. So all these things will throw errors. So as and when you do the validation, you will get all the errors as I showed you in this particular Excel sheet. Got it? So as and when you validate each and every Excel sheet, you will be assured that yes, you are going on the right way or not. See, actually it should not valid actually because I have not entered anything. Okay? Interpretation of validation errors. Single quotes. Okay, there are no. So these are errors starts with CVC or those which have, these are all something technical. So as you when encounter the error, you can always make a reference here and accordingly make the correction. So if you see, the same has been explained below for understanding. So these are all error correction which is very technical in stuff. Okay. So we have done till what is costing taxonomy. We have seen how to create the instance format, how to check it, that is converted into PDF format, validate it and then do it in XBRL format and attach it with form CRA 4 and upload it in MCA portal. Your job is done. Okay. So here they have given a lot of technical things. Okay. So let me see how many more questions we have. So almost we are going to complete it. Is that okay if I take 5 minutes of your time for this? 5 or 10 minutes? Are you all okay with it? Yes, so that we can complete this and from the next session we can start with management audit. Yes? Are you guys okay? Because we are in question number 12 and just 7 more questions to go. Yeah, and we will complete and close for the day today. So does preparing the XBRL documents mean the entire report has been typed in data entry in XBRL? So does that mean The way of working and sequence of entering data in the software may be different, but the output, that is the XBRL instance document, has to be same irrespective of the software used. So you have private software is also, right? Whatever may be the case, the report should be the same, whether you generate it through a different software, but the result should be the same. Is the XBRL software required to be purchased from a software vendor, or MCA will provide the software? So actually creation software is to be purchased from the software vendors in the market. This software is used to create XBRL instance document for uploading on MCA portal. MCA 21 system provides the facility for validation. This MCA 21 is what is there with MCA portal. MCA is not recommending any specific XBRL software. The outcome should be the same. That is why. So usually हम क्या करते हैं? We get it from the private software vendors. We pay for it. We renew it every year. The license gets renewed, and every year the new format, if anything, any minor changes is being made, will get reflected in the tool. Okay, so what is the purpose of final costing taxonomy and the business rules? So it provides the detail of character of individual items so that validation checks built into the system to ensure the correctness of information. So that is why it is universal across any kind of a software you use. What process is to be followed to file the report in XBRL format? So this was the question which they asked. Got it? See the following steps. So please mark this question because this is very, very important from the exam perspective. Then coming to the 16th question, is it necessary to convert the instance document into human readable format? Of course, because only then we can check for the errors. क्योंकि जो XML file भेजते हैं, if you click on that, you will not understand even a thing of it. Okay, it will be totally different. So I can show you an XML format file. Maybe I'll just forward it to you or show it in the next class because I have to dig down my details. Okay, so usually PDF format may they provide it, so it is easy for comparison. Whether it is required to validate the instance document created before uploading the same. Yes, of course, validation of instance document is very, very important. Only then it should be uploaded. Okay. And then just 2 more questions to go. Will the extension to the taxonomy be allowed based on company specific requirements? Extensions are not allowed in costing taxonomy. So it should be the same. The tagging will be the same. There is something called specific, company specific requirements. Like for example, in case of sugar audit reports, right? They have lot of formats which are different from the basic formats that are available. So that you will find it under cost audits for specific company requirements. So I'll just share that video also which will talk about the flow of information. When we are filing the cost audit report or compliance in XBRL format, then whether the previous Form 1 and Form A are still in existence or not. So it will not be in existence, only the new forms will go into the filing of cost audit report. That is once the instance document is validated and the final thing will be uploaded. Fine. So all these book back question on XBRL is very important. So please go through it. Okay. And that will be a sure short question for your exam. Fine. So that's all from my side for today. So we will almost 50% of the portion is done with cost audit, and we are going to progress towards another 50% of which management audit is contributing to 25%. So yeah, from the next session, we will start with management audit. So that's all from my side for today. I will circulate all the important links and other things which you can actually try it out and get the practical insight of all those concepts. Okay. So thank you all. Good night. Have a nice late evening. Yep. Thank you. Actually, the recording link, since it is streamed in YouTube, right? I'll send you the link of YouTube directly. Okay, so the recorded links will be with the management. So you can contact Sagar sir for that. Fine? Yeah, thank you. Bye.